You're listening to Radio News 24/7. I'm Darren McErlain. Thank you so much for your company. We are keeping a close eye on some developing stories and we will keep you updated. Thanks for staying with us. It's 9:30am in Australia's east, 9am in the centre and 7:30am in the west.
Radio News 24/7.
Let's take a look at our top international stories for this hour. A top security expert doesn't expect China's latest military drills to escalate into war. Today marks the third day of operations along the sensitive buffer zone with Taiwan. International Security and Intelligence Studies Professor John Blaxland says Beijing is keenly aware of how it's placed in the region.
In terms of capability and intent, intelligence analysis is basically brought down into those two categories. Capability-wise, they're close. They're not quite there in terms of assuring what they want. In terms of intent, I would suggest that the rhetoric is ratcheting up, but I don't think substantively that's likely.
China has simulated precision strikes against Taiwan on its final day of military exercises. State-run broadcaster CCTV has aired footage of the Navy conducting live fire drills at sea. Beijing says the operations are a stern warning of the self-governed island. And back home here in Australia, experts are concerned about the shifted focus of cybercrime. A new report by CyberCX shows an increase in the number of hackers targeting healthcare companies. Director of Cyber Security Catherine Manstead says there's a number of reasons the sector's under threat.
What criminals are trying to do is make money, and they target organisations that can't afford downtime. They target organisations where the harm is so great that those organisations feel a lot of pressure to pay ransoms back to those criminals.
And now it's time to do a quick whip around the country to see what's making news in our states and territories.
Radio News 24/7.
In New South Wales, a 61-year-old man will remain behind bars accused of stabbing his 59-year-old partner multiple times inside their Mascot apartment in Sydney. The man has been formally refused bail. Neighbour Erin says she's shocked it happened so close to home.
It's really terrible, especially because our building is so safe. I've never experienced anything like this close to home, so it's pretty sad.
A man in Victoria has been charged after 60 people had to be evacuated from the RSL in Box Hill because of a fire. Jennifer was one of those fleeing the flames.
They didn't actually tell us that there was a fire. They just sort of said, look, you do need to leave now. I don't think they wanted to alarm us. As soon as we smelt the smoke, we thought, oh, look, someone's probably thrown a cigarette somewhere and it's just, a little minor fire.
There were no reports of injuries and a 33-year-old man has been charged with a string of offences, including 3 counts of arson. Housing groups say more federal investment is needed to hit a target of 1 million new dwellings within 5 years. The number of new homes being built is slowing as rising costs and high interest rates take their toll on the construction sector. There are also calls for improved planning rules to open up new supply. Real Estate Institute Deputy President Anne Pilkington says the government must provide certainty for investors.
There needs to be federal support for investment, full stop, and investors, and whether that is big developers doing build-to-rent, but don't forget, small investors can do build-to-rent as well.
Queensland's Police Commissioner has hit the streets as part of a road safety blitz. Katarina Carroll was among the hundreds of officers conducting random breath tests as part of Operation Victor. She says it's an important part of policing.
It's really important to really be quite visible and show the public that we're serious about road safety, and RBT is an important component of that.
Road safety has also been a focus by New South Wales Police. Drivers are being reminded it's their responsibility to keep themselves and others safe after 5 people were killed on the state's roads. Assistant Police Commissioner Tracy Chapman says police can only do so much.
Ultimately, everyone who gets behind the wheel of a motor vehicle, everyone who gets on a motorbike, they accept the responsibility to do everything that they can to ensure that they keep themselves, their passengers and other road users safe.
You're with Darren McErlain on Radio News 24/7. Thanks for staying with us. It's 9:34am in Australia's east, 9:04am in the centre and 7:34am in the west. The Bureau of Meteorology is warning parts of Western Australia's Kimberley region it could be hit by a cyclone. Meteorologist Jessica Lingard says a storm could develop into the system later today.
We do have a tropical low to the north of the Kimberley at the moment. We are expecting it to continue to intensify today, possibly forming into a tropical cyclone later today. It's going to continue to move to the southwest, following parallel to the Kimberley coastline, strengthening as it goes over the next few days, possibly reaching a Category 4 system by Wednesday or Thursday.
A quick check of your weather across the country thanks to the Bureau of Meteorology for this Tuesday. Sydney partly cloudy and 23, Melbourne becoming mostly sunny and 20, Brisbane sunny and 28, cloudy in Perth with a top of 24, and there'll be some showers developing in Adelaide and 24, Hobart showers and 17, Canberra partly cloudy and 19, Darwin showers with a possible storm and 31 degrees. You're with Darren McErlain on Radio News 24/7, and turning to sport, and the West Coast Fever have recovered from a slow start to beat the New South Wales Swifts in netball by 11 goals. The Swifts dominated in the first quarter with scores tied 35, all at the main break, before the Fever ran away with a 67-78 victory. Fever remain undefeated after the first 4 matches of the Super Netball season.
You're listening to Radio News Across Australia with Darren McErlain.
And briefly, the collapse of Australia's largest soft plastics recycling program, Red Cycle, has deepened after investigators found 14 more stockpiling sites. New stashes of waste have been exposed in Queensland, Western Australia and Tasmania. And more than 90 rare baby loggerhead turtles have been returned and released off Shelley Beach on the New South Wales Central Coast. The nest was excavated and relocated to Taronga Zoo after being discovered more than a week ago. And a feel-good story to give your morning a boost. A mother of 4 is planning to run close to 3,000 kilometres from Perth to Adelaide, raising money for homelessness. Leanne Lupton will tackle the journey with her 2 dogs by her side, planning to be on the road for 44 days. Ms Lupton ran from Adelaide to Melbourne in 2019 for the same cause and says even though it'll be a painful trek, it'll be easier than having no safe place to call home.
The feet suffer. I did learn that on the Melbourne run. I imagine it's going to be worse this time, but really I struggled with calorie deficit sickness last time. So just trying to balance the energy output with the calorie input is really challenging.
And what an amazing person, and good on her. All the best of luck.
You're listening to Radio News Across Australia with Darren McErlain.
And it's great to have your company here on Radio News 24/7. We've got rolling coverage of what's happening in your town, across Australia and around the world.